So hi guys, let's look at Computer Studies Form 1 syllabus. This series I'll be taking you through questions and answers. I would wish to acknowledge and thank Longhorn Publishers for providing us with the notes, that is the reference materials. So covered units, I'll be covering questions and answers in Introduction to Computers, Computer Systems and Operating Systems. So in chapter 1, that is in form 1, we have the first topic, Introduction to Computers, and therefore we shall go one-on-one and check on the questions and answers in this series. So what is a computer? Define the term computer. The expected answer is that a computer is an electronic device that accepts user input, that is data, and transform it under influence of a set of special instructions called a program to produce desired output called information. Later on, we shall see the difference between data and information. Also, think of a computer. A computer is like an electronic brain. It's a machine that listens to what you tell it by typing or clicking. Then it follows special rules called programs to do things like showing pictures or playing games. So basically a computer is just like an electronic brain as explained in the second point. The second question, differentiate between data and information. Just like I said earlier, we have now these two important aspects that make us have a computer. So data, they are new facts that are meaningless to the user and cannot be used to make decision. For an example, when you have numbers, letters, alphanumerics, if, for example, you say 1, another person says 1, then another person comes in and says 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 is information. But 1, that 1 can mean 1 cock, can mean 1, that is 1 cow, 1 person. So when we say 1, 1 may not have a meaning. But when we say 1 plus 1 is 2, then 2 becomes the information. And therefore, we go to our next point, that is information. Information refers to data which has been processed. That is, we have data as new facts that are meaningless to the user and cannot be used to make decisions. On the other hand, when we talk about information, information now is the processed, that is the processed data for that matter. And the next question is, using diagrams, give two types of system units orientation, or you can talk about system units orientation. We usually have two types of system units orientations. That is, we have tower. You can see the first one here. This is called tower. And the next one is called desktop. So we have those two. Define the term peripheral devices. A peripheral device refers to a device connected to the system unit using special cables or using cables called interface cables that carry data and information to and from the device. So basically, when somebody asks you to define the term peripheral device, a peripheral device is a device that is connected to the system unit using a special cable called interface cable. Then list 4 examples of peripheral devices. So we have the keyboard. You have learned about the keyboard. You have the keyboard. It enables the user to enter data by typing. We have mouse. It is used to click or to point. We have monitor. And also we have others. You can also include printer. You can include speakers, etc. Speaker, you can probably argue about it, but devices connected using a special cable or the interface cables are called peripheral devices. Then list devices that were used for counting before invention of computers. So we have abacus, we have Napier bones, and analytical engine. Then somebody may ask you who is the father of computers. That is the guy or the gentleman who discovered analytical engine. And this is Charles Babbage or Charles Babbage, depending on how you read it. Question number 6. Explain technologies that were used in the following computer generations. That is a question that you must expect. So we have the first, that is the vacuum tubes or the harmonic valves. Second generation used transistors. Third generation used integrated circuits. Fourth generation used very large integrated circuits. The fifth generation used artificial intelligence or semiconductors. Question number 7. Classify computers according to the following factors. We have physical size, functionality, and purpose. So we have the physical size. In physical size, you can classify computers as supercomputers, microcomputers, mainframe, and mini computers. You can read more on the classifications. Then we have functionality. You classify computers according to analog computers, digital computers, hybrid computers, and there is also the argument about the hybrid computers, that is dedicated computers. You can still do some scrutiny more or read more about hybrid and those other computers. Then you can also classify computers according to purpose. So we have general purpose computers, we have special purpose computers, we also have dedicated computers. Then we have list the advantages and disadvantages of laptops. Here, why do you think people like using laptops rather than desktop computers? So the advantages of using a laptop is that they are portable. That means you can carry it around. We have display. About its display, we have the active color screen, show sharper, clearer images, which prevent eye strain. Also about power, you can you have a laptop usually have its own battery. So once you charge it, you can also be in a position to use it without connecting it directly to power. Disadvantages, we can talk about expandability. Connecting laptops have few ports. You can talk about performance, security, and display. Remember, you can pause the video and have more materials by reading it slowly. Probably you can just pause and have to write some few notes. Then using well-labeled diagrams differentiate between analog and digital signals. So here I have used the Longhorn notes, so you can see how the analog signal looks like and also how digital signal looks like. Remember, an analog signal is continuous and a digital signal is discrete or non-continuous. Then we have question number 10. Define the term computer laboratory. A computer laboratory is a room that has been specially prepared to facilitate installation of computers and to provide a safe, conducive environment for teaching and learning of computer studies. So basically, a computer laboratory is just a room that is kept aside for learning or teaching and learning of computer studies, or you can also do some research on it. Then explain why power and water fire extinguishers should not be used in computer laboratory. So when we talk about water and powder, these are enemies of electronic devices, just like you can just may have heard. Water may cause rusting. Remember, some parts of the computer are made of metal or iron or any other metal that can probably have rust. And also, water is an enemy of electricity. So when water comes across with the electricity, it may form something we call a short circuit, which may result to fire in the computer laboratory. Powder, on the other hand, may cause blockage or clogging of fans and other computer devices. So you usually use the gas fire extinguisher rather than powder and water-based fire extinguishers. Number 12. List how you can prevent repetitive strain injuries, RSI. For example, eye strain, backache, headache, that are brought about by overuse of computers. Guys, when you overuse a computer or when you misuse a computer, you may suffer from repetitive strain injuries. These are some kind of, you can call illness in quotes. That is, in computer, you call them repetitive strain injuries. So they are just basically injuries, not really illnesses. So having frequent breaks. For example, if you are using a computer like myself for the whole day, you might have sessions of breaks to break the monotony. Also, using standard furniture, make sure you use standard furniture. Also, using anti-glare screens. In case you are using desktop computers, you can assign them anti-glare screens, or also do some adjustment in terms of light. Then we have painting walls with dark colors to avoid reflections. That is also a good point. Then explain ways of burglar proofing a computer lab. Burglar proofing is actually assigning metal grills to avoid the following, or also we can give now explain ways. So it's actually to protect them, the computers and related gadgets. So to prevent unauthorized access, that is the burglar proofing, to the computer room, the following controls should be implemented. Fit strong metallic grills and locks on doors and windows. Do not welcome strangers to computer lab. Install security alarms at strategic access point to alert security personnel in case of break-in. Also, you can also add the way you can install CCTV, among other good and correct answers. List two functions of the UPS. UPS is an interruptible power supply unit. This is a gadget or a device that help you to accomplish the following. It regulates power from unstable power source to the required clean stable voltage. That is, it converts AC to DC. DC stands for direct current. AC is alternative current. So computer inside gadgets use the direct current, the DC. So it must be converted accordingly. It also provides it temporarily provides power to computer in case of a sudden power failure. You'll notice that when power goes off, the UPS, that gadget will allow you at least 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the kind, to allow you to save your work. Explain two types of booting. Guys, in Form 1, we learned about two types of booting. We have cold booting and warm booting. Cold booting is actually starting a computer that was initially off, whereas warm booting is restarting a computer. Then I'll also post you a question, food for thought. Give reasons as to why you may warm boot. Why do you think you may restart a computer? That is also a food for thought. Using a well-labeled diagram, explain parts of a typical computer keyboard. I use the term typical to make sure that it emphasizes, it captures all the aspects of a keyboard. So a keyboard is divided into functional keys, that is F1 to F12, alphanumeric, that is typing keys A to Z. It's also mixed up with 1 to, that's 1 to 0, that is 0 to 9, sorry. So we have the enter keys, we have the tab key, space bar, backspace, etc. You also know the difference between space bar and backspace. They confuse students. We have cursor movement or navigation and editing keys. We have the arrow keys, pager, down, home, edit keys, insert key, delete, etc. Then we have special keys, shift, control, alternative, and escape. So then we have the numeric keys 0 to 9 with the division, multiplication, addition, and sign. So guys, you can pause the video and look at this keyboard of mine. Remember we acknowledge Longhorn Publishers for providing these reference materials. Then we have explain the mouse techniques. Mouse usually have various techniques or various actions that are accomplished or performed when it is either clicked, whether you double click, whether you right click, whether you hold the right or the left button, that is called a drag and drop. So we usually have clicking, that just means selecting an object. Then we have double clicking, this is pressing in a quick succession, that is opening a document. We have right clicking, this is to provide a shortcut menu. Drag and drop is actually to transfer a file. Why is a mobile phone regarded as a computer? Why do you think people call or regard a mobile phone as a computer? So it produces tones, that is alerts. It is portable. It looks like a palm note. It is electronic, has screen, keyboard, memory, and it is programmable. So those are some of the answers you need to provide. Question number 19. Which one of the following is called a microprocessor? Definitely the answer is the CPU of a microcomputer. So that one is the answer for that. Guys, let's move to chapter 2, computer systems. This is the next topic and the largest topic in Form 1 syllabus of air. That is the computer system. So here I shall actually base or focus on the important aspects that can be questioned by any examiner, And when you look at the aspects, it will give you the broad picture of the topic. So a computer system is made up of three major components. Explain the three components of a computer system. So it's made up of hardware, software, and liveware. When we talk about liveware, there is the word live. Liveware is the user. It's the person operating the computer. When we talk about the software, these are apps. Nowadays, you use the word apps, meaning applications or programs. These are the computer programs that guide the computer on what to do. That is the software. The hardware are the touchable, the tangible, touchable parts. The physical parts of a computer are called hardware. So those are the definitions. Explain three classifications of input devices. Basically, we can classify the computer input devices in several ways, but basically the main ones are keying devices, pointing devices, and scanning devices. So when we talk about keying, just like the term goes, like the keyboard, the keypad, these are the devices with the keys or buttons. When they are pressed, you type or give instruction to the machine. Pointing devices, just like the word goes, point, something like the mouse. So we have trackball, joystick for those ones who play games, or like the PS and the others. So we have the pointing devices, they are used to point. We have scanning devices, these are used to capture the image directly from the source, just like a scanner does. Then explain two classifications of scanners. We classify scanners according to optical technology and also according to magnetic technology. And for that matter, we have optical scanners. They capture data using light. And therefore, we have the optical mark recognition, or MR. We have optical bar recognition, or BR. And also, we have now the optical characters through image scanner, OCR. You can read more on the explanations from your textbook or your exercise book. Then we have the magnetic scanners. They capture data using magnetic technology. We have the MIC, or magnetic ink character recognition. We also have the magnetic strip recognition. Still, you can get more information from Longhorn textbook or also other textbooks that have been accepted by the Kenya. We call it the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. Then we have explain three application areas or area of speech recognition, a very important question. Where can you use voice or speech recognition devices? So we have security and access control, e.g. office security for room access, house or car. Remember, everybody has special pronunciation or special voice, so the machine will identify that this is person X or person Y. Quality control and automatic in factories, e.g. speech input used to order robots. Automated material handling in airports to direct luggage to appropriate conveyor belt. You can read more on those ones. Then we have explain four situations that make it difficult to use speech recognition devices. Why do you think some people don't like using speech recognition devices? Number one is the homophones. Some words sound the same. Like, for example, there is a person who may not probably differentiate between, for example, we have some words that are pronounced the same. We have read, to read people, and read the chemical. So the chemical in chemistry, read. So a computer will get confused because you read them the same. Recognition is slow. Yeah, it takes slow. You can also go you try to talk to a machine. It takes you some time rather than typing or probably using other methods like scanners. Limited vocabularies. We also have background noise can disrupt the data entered. Speech variability, that is speed, speech, pitch, loudness, pronunciation of individuals. People pronounce the words differently. Explain 5 factors to consider while selecting an input device. A very crucial and good question. 5 factors to consider. When you are selecting an input device, e.g. mouse, e.g. voice or speech recognition, e.g. scanners, what make you consider what to use? Number one is the cost. Number 2 is the volume. Number 3 is reliability, accuracy, mode of operation, and appropriateness. So you can still use your dictionary or your digital devices to know more meaning of those terms like accuracy, reliability, and appropriateness. You can get the difference from a dictionary. Then we have explained 2 ways of classifying output devices. Guys, output devices are classified into 2. We have soft copy and hard copy. Soft copy means this is intangible. Hard copy means it is tangible. On the other hand, you can also go more and get examples of soft copy output devices and hard copy output devices. Then, define the term graphic adapter or video adapter. A graphic adapter is a piece of circuit board that connects a monitor to a computer and allows the computer to show images and text on its screen. The point where the system unit connects with the screen or monitor, there is this part, the graphical adapter or video card. That is the part that makes you to see text. So this list 4 examples of graphic adapter. So we have the monochrome display. This shows black and white, monochrome. We have high-course graphic. We have color graphic. We have enhanced adapter. We have video graphic array. We also have super video graphic array. So in this one, you can just pause the video and scrutiny more on the explanation I have given. Explain 3 applications of sound output. Number 1 is a learning aid. For example, computer-aided learning. Rifts. Messages can be used in rifts to greet visitors and tell them the floor they are in. If you have ever used a rift, some sound outputs are given to tell you the floor you are in. Emergency messages, e.g. public address system, in cars when running out of petrol, household, e.g. vacuum cleaners, tabs if cleaners tab is overloaded. Text-to-speech translation for the bride. Then define the term hard copy. Hard copy, we have explained that one in our earlier question. List 4 examples of hard copy. We have a hard copy, should be hard copy output devices. Add that. Output should be output devices, guys. So, 4 examples of hard copy output devices. We have printers, we have plotters. So the answer here, we have the printer, we have plotters. We also have computer microform. This one are used in libraries. You can scrutiny more about microforms and microfiche, or microfiche, depending on how you read. But for the easy understanding of that one, you can just call microfiche. Differentiate between impact and non-impact printers. Page and line, that is page and line printers. So when you talk about an impact printer, they provide prints by print head element coming into actual contact with the stationery through ink ribbon. Basically, impact printers use striking mechanism, whereas non-impact printers use non-striking mechanism. But whatever I have written here is more comprehensive to pass an exam and also to explain to your neighbor. We have line printers, just like the word goes, it prints a single line for every time. Page printers print a whole entire page, or the entire page at any given time. Give 3 differences between impact and non-impact printers. Impact printers are slow when printing, non-impact are faster. Impact use ink ribbons, non-impact use thermal or electrostatic principles. Impact printers are cheaper, non-impact are costly. And then we have impact are noisy, the other one is quiet. Remember to avoid using negation, like slow, not slow, cheaper, not cheaper. Just say cheaper, just go to the opposite of the word. Multiple copy production, possible, the other one is impossible. Then discuss factors to consider when selecting a printer. You can consider the initial cost, that is the initial and maintenance cost. Volume of printing, how many or how much can it print, nature of reports to be generated, range of capability for selected printers, for example, multiple copier print styles, interface with the computer system, speed of printing, that is paper per page, quality of printers, and also you can consider color printing. Add that one, color printing, whether you need black and white or you need color printing or printing photos. Name 2 types of plotters. Plotters are used to produce graphics like big maps, that is billboards, big advertisements, such. So we have flatbed plotters and also drum plotters, among others. If you research, there are many. Explain the functional units of the CPU. Remember, the CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. I'm 100% sure you can't forget that. Then, so the parts of a CPU, we have the arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logic unit. Then we have the control unit, or the CU, and then the main memory, or the primary storage. So the arithmetic logic unit is the part that does logical comparisons and mathematics. Control unit coordinates all the processing activities of the CPU, while the main memory is now where the data is temporarily stored. Then we have discussed the types of ROM, that is read-only memory, and random access memory. So when you talk about read-only memory, this is the memory that is actually permanent or semi-permanent, whereas RAM is actually temporary, depends on power, and we say it's volatile. That is, it depends on power. When power goes off, the contents goes off with power. So we have the mask read-only memory. Then we also have the programmable read-only memory. You see, we have the MROM or PROM. We have erasable programmable read-only memory, EPROM. Then we have electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So the mask RAM, once the content are written on the manufacturer, it cannot be changed. That is masked. It has been masked. Cannot be changed. Programmable means this allows the user to alter. To alter means to change it only once after the content is written on it. Then you have erasable. You see, now it's erasable, then programmable. That means you can erase and then rewrite, but you use the ultraviolet light or the sunlight. Then we have the electrically erasable. Now, rather than the erasable programmable, which is done by the ultraviolet light, this one is done using electricity. So you can still now erase the content and then reprogram by rewriting it. Then RAM, random access memory. We have 2 types. We have dynamic random access memory and we have static random access memory. SRAM, or the static random access memory, is a very fast memory and hold its content as long as there is power. Then we have dynamic. The word dynamic means keeps changing. It holds its content for a short while, even when the power is on. To maintain its content, it must be refreshed severally per second. So static is more expensive than dynamic. You can get the difference from the internet or from your other reference materials. Explain 2 special purpose memories. When we talk about special memories, these are memories that work with the CPU to actually make the work easier for it. So for example, we have the cache memory and also the registers. But when you talk about buffer is not really related so much with the CPU. It is a special purpose memory used during input and output or processing to temporarily hold data or instruction between communicating elements. When you talk about a mouse, when you click the mouse, you must have a memory buffer that tells the CPU somebody has clicked the button, so execute. When you double click, then it tells the CPU that somebody has double clicked, so open. Then we have cache memory. It is a very high speed type of SRAM, that is static random access memory, whose purpose is to allow the processor to access data instructions more faster. Then we have the register. The register, they are temporary storage locations within the CPU that holds one piece of data at a time. So those are the special memories we are talking about. Using a diagram, explain the functional organization of the CPU. So this is the diagram you need to draw. I have extracted it from Longhorn Notes. So we have the CPU. This is the way the CPU can be described. It has the control unit. It has the arithmetic and logic unit that calculates and compares data. Then it can also include the input devices. On the other hand, once the whole thing is processed, it is sent to the output device like the that is the output device like the monitor. Then we have the secondary storage device or the backup, where data now is stored permanently. Then we have discussed 3 types of computer buses. We usually have the control bus, address bus, and data bus, just like I have put them here. When we talk about control bus, this is a pathway or an electric pathway for all timings and controlling functions sent by the control unit to other parts of the system. Then we have the address bus. This pathway is used to locate the storage position in the memory of the data to be executed or an instruction to be decoded. Then lastly, we have the data bus. This is the actual pathway where data now is transmitted. This is the pathway where the actual data transfer takes place. Then discuss classification of secondary storage. Guys, you classify storage. Secondary storage are the backups, flash disk. You can talk about the hard disk. You can talk about the floppy disk, CD, DVDs, memory sticks, memory cards. Those are the secondary storage. They store data permanently. These are called the secondary storage or auxiliary storage. So we classify them according to removable. Something like a CD, flash disk, you can put data and remove it. That means it is removable. Then there is the fixed, something like the internal hard disk, because we also have the external hard disk, which is removable. We have fixed. These are the ones that are housed inside the system unit, like the hard disk. Also, the food for thought, make sure you can draw the hard disk and label it. Discuss forms of CDs or compact disks. So we have CD-ROM, that is compact disk read-only memory. Like when you write a CD, it becomes a CD-ROM. That means you cannot change its content. You can only read. That is read-only. Then you have CDR. When you buy a new CD, it is empty or blank. So it is a CD recordable. You can record, and once you record, it becomes the CDR. Then we have the CDRW. This is compact disk rewritable. That means you can write, then erase, then write again. And for that case, we use the word warm. That is write once, read many times. These disks they allow the user to record data on them once, but read many times. So we refer that one as warm. Then on the other hand, somebody may ask you to define the term port. It is a socket on the system unit in which a cable from external peripheral device, G-mouse, keyboard, are put. So here we have the term define the term. We change the font. Define the term port. What is a port? So that is the meaning. So you usually have the power cable, serial cables. The next point, give the meaning of the symbols as used to denote give the meaning of the symbols as used to denote an interface. So we have the symbols as shown here. We have symbol 1, symbol 2, symbol 3, symbol 4, and symbol 5. So what is the meaning of symbol 1? What is the meaning of symbol 2, 3, 4, 5? So these are the answers, guys. Symbol 1 denote parallel. These are cables or interfaces that transmit 8 bits every time. Then we have serial. These transmit 1 bit at a time, but at a high speed. Then we have the serial, that is the universal serial bus, USB. We have the small computer system interface, that is SCSI. We have the PS2 mouse. This is for the parallel mouse and also for the parallel keyboard. This one's here. Then we have the next term, differentiate between application and system software. So system software, it enables the user to communicate with the computer and various devices, e.g. the keyboard, whereas application software are designed to help the user to perform a specific task, e.g. typing. When you want to type, you use Microsoft Word. When you want to do calculations, you do using spreadsheet. Then differentiate between in-house and standard software. If you call somebody to come up with a system for you, e.g., for example, you are the manager of a bank or a school principal, you need an exam system, you need a fees management system or accounting system. Those softwares are called in-house. That or bespoke. This means they are designed, they are tailored for a specific task. Then standard software, this one you find them in the shop, sorry. You go to the over the counter and you buy them, like Microsoft Office. So standard software, these are softwares that are already made and available off the counter. Whereas in-house, you must call a programmer to come and make it or tailor it for you. List examples of utility software. Utility softwares are softwares that make the running of the CPU smooth. Something like now, we have now the ones I have tabled for you in the screen, like the time, we have calculator, you can talk about antivirus, calendar, etc. Those ones, the ones that I have projected for you, these are the expected answers. But basically, I base on calculator because that one you cannot forget. Time, that is date and time there, calendar, etc. You can also talk about antivirus and backup utility. List examples of application software. Application softwares are so many, so they are classified. Like when you want to type, you use a word processor, e.g. Microsoft Word. When you want to keep records, you use a database, e.g. you can use Excel or Access. Here, these ones are mixed up. This one are mixed up. We must correct this one to avoid future. Yeah, good. Sorry for the mix-up. Database, we have Microsoft Access. Spreadsheet, we have Microsoft Excel. They are used for calculations. Database are used for keeping records. Then we have desktop publishing. This is used for making cards or publications. We have computer-aided design. This is for technical drawing, e.g. AutoCAD. Then we have graphical software, e.g. Photoshop, for designing and manipulating graphics. So basically, you can pause the video and take some notes. Then, list down examples of software suite. We have Adobe Suite. A suite means a combination of software. It is one pack comes with different packages. Then we have Corel Suite. We have Microsoft Office Suite and also Open Office Suite, among others. Discuss the criteria for selecting a computer. So we have the hardware consideration. When you want to choose to buy a computer, you must consider the software and the hardware. So we usually classify them as hardware considerations and software considerations. Hardware consideration, you consider the processor speed measured in hertz. You have computer memory capacity measured in kilobytes or megabytes or gigabytes. We have upgrading and compatibility, user needs, cost, portability, and warranty. Whereas when you consider now the software, you consider the user needs, the documentation, that is the manual, authenticity, whether it's pirated or original, whether that is user friendliness, how easy to use, how easy is the software for the user, cost, portability, how can a software be portable? A software can be copied from one computer to the other. That is portability. How easy is it to copy from one machine to the other? Then we get to our last topic, operating systems. Give examples of operating system to start with. We have Microsoft-based operating systems, e.g. Microsoft, the ones I have displayed there. Currently, we are in Windows 11. We were previously in Windows 10. Then we have Unix, Linux, MS-DOS, a very old operating system, and Novell, among others. Explain functions of the operating system. The operating system is responsible for resource control. It is the one that controls the input, output, management, and also the CPU time, main memory, etc. That one is referred as resource control. We have job scheduling. The OS prepares schedules, controls, and monitors tasks submitted for execution to ensure that the most efficient processing. Job scheduling is actually arranging tasks according to priority or according to time they arrive, according to the storage capacity. That is job scheduling. The operating system is the one that is responsible for arranging tasks. Then we have memory management. The OS will make slices and assign every slice to a task to make it efficient for processing. Then error handling, the operating system identify and report errors to the user. That is error handling. Then you have interrupt handling. The OS determines the cause of the interrupt and transfer the control to the most appropriate program. When an error comes in the computer stops responding or processing. That is an interrupt, and therefore the operating system takes the error and gives that error to the correct program to correct it. Then you have input-output handling. That is self-explanatory. It just handles the input devices and the output devices. Then we have explain types of operating system. Operating systems are classified according to number of users, number of tasks, and interface or human-computer interface. So explain the types of operating system according to number of users, number of tasks, and interface. So these are the main classification. And according to the number of users, we have single user and multi-user. According to number of tasks, we have single tasking and multitasking. According to interface, we have GUI or the graphical user interface. We have the command line interface and the menu-driven interface. You can do more scrutiny or read more on the textbooks or exercise books. So, discuss the graphical user interface or GUI. So this is an interface that uses small pictures called icons to represent commands. If you look at your smartphone, it is full of small icons with names or with their meaning. So when you tap or when you click on the button, it does something. That is a very good example of GUI. This use of small picture of small icons to represent a command. When you want to choose an operating system, which factors should you consider? So you consider hardware configuration, you consider basic design of the computer, you consider applications intended for the computer, user-friendliness, cost, and availability in the market. So when you go to the shop and you want to buy an operating system, consider the following factors. Discuss how Windows organizes information. Windows organizes information according to file, folders, and then the storage media. So basically we start with a file. A file is just a collection of data. Then when you go to the folder, when you have so many files of different types, you classify them or you arrange them in folders for easy management. Then these folders are kept in a storage media. Like for example, you may keep it in a flash disk, in a CD, or in a hard disk. So we organize it from file, folder, and then the storage media. Then differentiate between system and application files. When we talk about system files, these are files contain information that is important. The term critical here means important for the operation of the computer. Whereas application files, these are files that hold programs or application files. Simple and clear. That is the difference between the two. Then, when you go to your PC, this PC or my computer icon and open it, you realize that there are letters A to Z. That is the drives there. When you insert a flash disk, then a memory card, or you add another flash disk, they will be arranged from these letters A to all the way to Z. So A and B are preserved for floppy disks. Nowadays we don't use floppy disks. So that's why you will get that your drives are arranged from drive C. That is, drive C is the first partition. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4 partitions, then they will be given C, D, E, F. When I insert a CD, it will be given now the next letter from there. So there is no actually specific way, only that drive C, D. If you have one partition of hard disk, it is drive C. Then optical disk or the CD drive will be given letter D. You can pause the video and get more information. Then when you go down there on your computer, there is that part that has start and ends with the clock. They are at the extreme right corner. That part is called the taskbar. The taskbar is divided into 3. Start button, the center part, the middle part is the task manager, and the last part is called the system tray or notifications area. Then we have list disk management tasks. We usually have disk formatting. When you buy a new disk, you prepare it to hold data by creating tracks and sectors, that is by performing formatting. Somebody else may also say that formatting is deleting data. That is correct. Then we have disk partitioning. For the purpose of installing more than 2 operating systems, you may do disk partitioning. You may divide your disk into 2. You can also divide your disk into 2 for backup purposes. That is disk partitioning, dividing a disk into more than 1 partition. Then we have disk cleanup. When your disk is full, you run a utility called disk cleanup to remove those unwanted icons or files to free your disk. Then we have disk defragmentation. This is bringing together scattered files to make your machine easy to search files and also to make it faster, also save on space. Lastly, we have disk scanning. This is identification of errors. It is done by some of utilities of your computer. So guys, that is the end of my presentation. That is in Form 1 Computer Studies Question and Answers. In case you need this document, you can just WhatsApp on that number that's there. Guys, remember to subscribe, remember to like, and also remember to share these files with your friends. Thank you very much.